Hello, BookTube. I was just in the middle of chortling over my secondhand book haul when a bunch of first-hand books arrived in the mail. I keep forgetting. I just ordinarily assume that the fact that there's a federal holiday in the middle of the week somehow screws up the rest of the week. Of course it doesn't. It doesn't. Everything works just fine in Boston on the Monday before the 4th of July, if the 4th of July falls on a Tuesday. It's just tomorrow. It's just Tuesday that's going to be frozen solid. But I got mail today. Not many packages, but then again, this is just the U.S. mail. It's if it's the Monday between a Sunday and a federal holiday, then the usual drivers will be gone, and the new drivers who want the time and a half will be doing the route, and they'll do it in different ways. So I might still get UPS and FedEx later today. But I have these, and it ends in a box that is also heavy. Very nice. So I thought we'd just go through them together. Let's see here. Let's see what this first one is. If you're not all new booked out, that's Monday, of course, is when Thomas at SFF 180 does his new books. But who can ever be new booked out? Really? So the first one is not known to me. It is from The Other Press. It is called Recapitulations. It is by Vincent Crapanzano, and it comes out in paperback on July 25th. I don't know it at all. A stylish, splendidly literary memoir. Crapanzano can sketch a scene with a compelling novelistic skill, whether he's portraying street life in Marrakesh, the fish markets of Paris, or a brief enigmatic encounter with Lacan. Okay, so this is, I don't know what it's going to look like in reality. This is what it looks like in the copy that I got. Although this could be it. This has the logo, this has the price, this has the barcode. This could be the finished copy, in which case, I gotta think, if The Other Press has a very strange idea of what will be an attractive spine picture. There's your Uncle Morty. He's not really happy with your book choice. I don't know, maybe that's the author. Maybe they do that individually for each book. So this is, he's a world-renowned anthropologist whose works have appeared in the New Yorker, the New York Times, the Times Literary Supplement, and American Anthropologist. He's the author of 6 books, and his wide-ranging work has made him a name beyond the field of anthropology, extending well into the world of American letters. Never heard of him before. I ought to get out more in American letters. All right. Well, this has blurbs just everywhere from everybody in the world, all talking about this book. So, when did I say it came out? It comes out at the end of this month. A memoir. Okay, I should probably put that at the top of the list. Let's see though. Who knows what else this mail haul will have? It could all be at the top of the list. The list isn't elastic after all. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, it's a thriller. I love thrillers. Alright, so this comes out on August 1st, and it is No Mortal Thing by Gerald Seymour. Kind of a nice cover, yes? And unless I'm much mistaken, the title comes from the same old Roman author. I swear, everybody has quoted this. Oh, it doesn't say. I am a human, no mortal thing. He's alien to me. Some variation on that translation has just been this title of so many thrillers. Let's see here. International bestseller Gerald Seymour's latest thriller is a novel of relentless power and mounting suspense. Hold on there, Seymour. I'll quite literally be the judge of that. Why don't you just mind your P's and Q's? That will leave readers glued to the edge of their seats until its stunning conclusion. Does anybody read seating? I read in bed. Doesn't everybody? Who reads sitting in a chair? Jago is a kid from the rough part of London who has worked hard to get a job in a bank and is now on a fast track to the Berlin office. Mark Antonio is one of the new generation of the crime families of Calabria in southern Italy. He is in Germany to learn how to channel their illicit millions toward legitimate businesses all over Europe. maybe chip into a presidential campaign. As long as they're open for business, why not? When Jago witnesses Mark Antonio commit a vicious assault and the police seem uninterested, the Englishman refuses to let the matter drop. But by pursuing the gangster to his grandfather's mountain lair, Jago is stepping into the middle of a delicate surveillance operation, which sets alarm bells ringing in Rome, London, and Berlin. I will give Gerald Seymour 2 thumbs up if the two of them fall in love. But I know they won't. But why do I know this guy's name? I feel certain that I know this guy's name. No Mortal Thing is his 14th book. Okay, so I've probably read something by him in the past. But the association with his name is a positive one. It's like I've not only read something by him, but I've read something that I really liked. Oh, this isn't helping me at all. All right, well I'll look it up and see. But there's the villa on the cover. All right, so good. All right, we're off to a fine start here. Next one is rather heavy, so it feels like a finished copy or something. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's a big, thick paperback. It's a huge paperback. It occurred to me just the other day. I was reminded by something else just the other day that the University of Chicago Press has put out a reprint, a new edition of Pasolini Requiem, which is Barth David Schwartz's great biography of Pasolini. And I grab Pasolini Requiem at used bookstores whenever I can to send copies out to film aesthetes. Needless to say, Pasolini never did anything on celluloid that was the least bit interesting to yours truly. But still, he has devoted fans. But I get the book all the time. I get it whenever I see it. And this is a second edition, rather stylish thing. That I believe the second edition, the new stuff concentrates almost exclusively on the murder, on Pasolini's murder. I don't think most of the book will be different. But it doesn't matter. I would gladly reread it. I haven't read Pasolini Requiem in probably 20 years, more than that. So this came out already. This came out in May. I was just late to the party getting it. And you know, when it came out originally, I was not book reviewing. It was in the Donahue Interregnum when I was not book reviewing. So maybe this would be a chance for me to write something, a little something about it. That might be fun. All right, we'll move on here. We're getting a nice variety of things. Uh-oh. Oh, God. All right, it's a slim volume of poetry. And it's now a minefield here on this channel. I have been reproved and reprimanded 8 million different ways by a very wonderful, loyal readership. I have a loyal viewership in Poland. And apparently I can never do right by pronouncing Polish names. This is Oxygen. The author's first name is Julia. And the author's last name is Fiedorczuk, which I believe is pronounced O'Connor. So this is let's see, this is from who? Zephyr Press. It's actually very lovely, isn't it? It's just a collection of poetry by Julia O'Connor. And let's see, what have we got here? This comes out. Any details? Do I have details? Steve wants details. No, I don't have any details. Steve needs details. Oh, look at that. I didn't even check to see. This is bilingual. How nice. Oh, very nice. Okay. No details from Zephyr Press on when this comes out. I'll have to look it up on my own. Like a common bridge troll. But anyway, so there you go. Julia O'Connor. I believe you'll all agree I pronounced that correctly. Now we'll move on to this one here. We're getting the boxes next, and then we'll be done. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, God. All right. It's yet another book about poetry. Only this one is much more up my line of country. I think we saw the advanced copy of this. Boy, the finished copy is lovely. This is Glenn Maxwell's Drinks with Dead Poets. Glenn Maxwell did a very slim book that I wholeheartedly recommend to all of you, even if you're not the least bit interested in poetry. It's called On Poetry, and virtually every line of it is quotable. It is an amazing, amazing meditation on poetry that he wrote. It made my year-end Steve Reads list of the best books of the year for the year in which it came out, and we are barreling inexorably towards that list even as we speak. After all, it's July, right? In no time at all, it will be October. And then the Steve Reads list, that is the defining event of every reader in the world, will be right around the corner. But anyway, so let's see here. Poet Glenn Maxwell wakes up in a tidy English village one autumn day with no memory of how he got there. Is he dead? In a coma? Just dreaming? The only thing he's sure of is that there's a class to teach, which is what he sets out to do. But isn't that the poet Keats wandering down the lane? I don't know. It's about the dimensions of a bird, about 5 feet tall, reeking of tobacco. Maxwell can't help but notice that a score of other well-known poets, Poe, Yeats, Whitman, Dickinson among them, are also on their way to give readings in the humble village hall. Emily Dickinson out in public? I don't think so. As time passes, he comes to find that each of the poets, from Byron to the Brontes, is more than willing to give readings, do a Q&A with his class, and even hit the Cross Keys pub afterwards to discuss their work. This sounds fantastic. Totally unrealistic, but fantastic. Poe would have 6 different kinds of objection, and Whitman would make the commitment to talk to the class and then not show up. But with Byron, you're aces. I just wouldn't share your students with them, that's all. Maxwell's Drinks with Dead Poets tells the tale of this fictional yet profound... Thanks for the prompt. This fictional yet profound autumn term with some of history's most beloved poets. Every word spoken by the named poets comes directly from their own diaries or essays. Very nice. Their thoughts woven seamlessly into Maxwell's fictional lectures. This dreamy novel from one of our finest modern poets combines a palpable love of literature with a surreal narrative, creating a spirited homage to the departed literary greats. And I've mentioned on this channel before that with a book like this, you send out galleys to poobahs and hope that they get around to it. You're not paying them, so they either do or don't get you a blurb in time to be of any use on this or on the book. But then you also send it to the industry journals, Booklist, Library Journal, Kirkus, Publishers Weekly. And them you can pay, and they also are going to be duty bound to notice it ahead of time. Anyway, and they're all combined. Their whole machinery is set up months ahead of time to give libraries an invaluable heads up on what to order. But also they come in very handy for publishers, because all of a sudden you've got, like for instance right here, you've got a clean 3 suite of Booklist, Kirkus, and Library Journal. All liked it. So, and it comes out in early August. Oh boy, I am on board. Although it takes more to do this than just quotes from journals and letters. I trust Glenn Maxwell, so I feel certain. I got the advanced copy of this and I didn't even touch it. I didn't even look at it, but I trust him. So if anybody can do it, he can do it. But to put it mildly, usually when I read fictional recreations of Lord Byron, I am not pleased. But because I won't say that it's true of all the other people in here. I don't know if Browning is in this book. If he is, then maybe. I don't know if Longfellow is in this book. If he is, then certainly. But when it comes to Byron, I know the journals and letters, as well as anybody who's going to write about Byron. I know them. So I will know, if you're using a line, if you're having Byron say something when the Byron you're talking to is 32, and it was said by a Byron who was 12, or 15, or 17, I'm going to know that, and it might spoil things. In a case like this, I almost prefer that the poets be poets that I don't know that well. But one way or another, I'll report back. And then we've got this thing. It's a box, and it's immensely heavy. So I don't know what's in here, but it's got to be a finished copy of something or other. I just can't. Oh, well, actually, I do. Yes, I do know what this could be. That Russian Revolution book, The House of Government. The finished copy of that will have to come in a box of its own. And it will weigh a ton, because it's a gigantic book. I didn't think that was for a while, though. Let's see. Ooh, this thing is very pretty. Very nice. Oh, okay, all right. This is The Mystery Doc, a novel by Matthew McIntosh. Look at the size of this thing. I have heard so much about this book. A genre buster, a strange and weird thing. Look at that, it's got a huge blurb right at the top of the sheet from Alan Moore. We are extraordinarily excited to share with you Matthew McIntosh's The Mystery Doc. As the Grove Atlantic publisher writes, over the last 2 decades, the screens we are all addicted to have transformed the way we interact with text and images. No, they haven't. Other writers have reflected those changes in their writing, but I know of no other book that has so profoundly and brilliantly incorporated these shifts into a work that both expands the form of the novel and captures the way we now experience the world. 12 years in the making, The Mystery Doc is the big book in every sense, of exceptionally ambitious in scope and utterly unique in its telling. Okay. Right. Yeah. Funny, highly inventive, and deeply moving. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, Seymour. It might not be any of those things. You wait until you hear from me. You don't listen to them. This book is a vast, shape-shifting literary novel that reads like a page-turner. It's a comedy, a tragedy, a big book about America. Rooted in the western United States in the decade following 9/11, the book follows a young writer and his wife as he attempts to write the follow-up to his first novel, searching for a form that will express the world as it has become, even as it continually shifts all around him. How much do you want to make a bet that writer's name is Matthew McIntosh? How much do you want to make a bet that the real Matthew McIntosh has already written a novel and this is his follow-up to it? How much do you want to make a bet that he and his wife did some traveling? Pop-up ads, search results, web charts, snippets of conversation, lines of code, and film and television stills mixed with alchemical manuscripts, classical works of literature, and the story of a man who wakes up one morning without any memory of who he is, his only clue a single blank document on his computer called The Mystery Doc. From text messages to the divine comedy, first love to artificial intelligence, the book explores what makes us human. Part love story, part memoir, part documentary, part existential whodunit. The Mystery Doc is a modern epic about the quest to find something lasting in a world where everything and everyone is in danger of slipping away. You hold in your hand the 4.5-pound finished book. Due to intricacies in the production process of a book this length, we are unable to provide proper galleys, and this is the book we will publish in October. Oh, okay, so this isn't a galley at all. This is 1,660 pages of a finished book. It reads as quickly as a novel of more conventional length. What does that even mean? I don't even know. This weekend I read 2 novels, each of which topped the scales at 250 pounds soaking wet with rocks in their pockets, and both of them felt like a trek through the Gobi Desert, and they were short. I have also read very long books that I sailed through, my beloved Tale of Genji, Rowan Mason's beloved Middlemarch. It doesn't... Well, okay. All right. Matthew McIntosh is the author of the Los Angeles Times bestseller, Well, He Lives with His Wife on the West Coast. How do you like that? He wrote one other book, and he lives with his wife on the West Coast, but they had to travel to get there. Okay. All right, so I don't expect you to... This thing is $35, and it's weird, and it's 1,660 pages long. So I don't expect you to go into a bookstore and buy it unless you're very interested. But I do want to show it to you. Good, help us. So this is the book. Rather pretty. Has a built-in bookmark, and let's see what it looks like here. Oh God. I opened to this page at random, and half my review is already written. There's a line. Okay. Pictures. You YA fans are already seeing what I'm seeing, right? You have already seen this book. You've already seen this shtick in Illuminae. So There's that on one page, and nothing on the other. Nothing visible anyway. There's something audible. That would be the shrieks of the whole forest that were put to the saw for this thing. Okay, so this page is, and so I have the comma, the italics, certificate of death, long space, and all, comma, long space, all that. So the problem that I have with innovative, well, I don't even remember all the adjectives that I was bombarded with. The problem that I have with these, we'll call it the House of Leaves syndrome, is that usually once you boil this thing on the stove top that is being a critical book reviewer, what you're left with is all sauce and no steak, all fizz and no gin. Almost exclusively, that is the case. I have almost never seen it when that wasn't true. And I could list books like this. I could make a long list of things that did this sort of shenanigans to no point, where they weren't actually, it wasn't really worth it in the end. But you never know. This book might not be that. So I've heard a lot about it. So I will actually read it. It's certainly be one of the longest books I get this year. This and The House of Government. And this comes out in early October. Okay. All right, so I'm not getting anything else. This is the finished book. This is just open it to another page. 348 and 349. Totally blank except for the word Earth. Okay, so we have the mystery.doc. Gigantic thing. Then we have Drinks with Dead Poets. I would, if I were Glenn Maxwell, I would tell Edgar Allan Poe to stop at 1. Then Oxygen by Julie O'Connor, a promising Polish poet. Then Pasolini Requiem in a beautiful reprint, very nice. Then No Mortal Thing by Gerald Seymour, a thriller. And then a memoir by it's called Recapitulations by Vincent Crapazano. And there somebody's disapproving uncle is there on the spine. So that's it. That is a mail haul in multiple colors. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Multiple colors, a mail haul, and I will wrap up for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.